try again. My lord, I want to leave Salem. My lord, I want to go to Richmond, to teach you, my lord, what it is to be a loving husband who protects his wife and his marriage, my lord. Sir Thomas Erpingham was a very lucky man. He had a beautiful wife and he had fine lands, and his lands were near the city, an easy walk from his lands to the city, and abutting his land there was an abbey, and separating his land from the abbey lands there was a high stone wall. Unfortunately, at this time, the reputation of the abbey was not what it should be. The townsfolk and the manor thought the monks in the abbey, the friars in the abbey, to be lascivious and venal men, interested far more in the flesh than in the spirit. Now, whilst this may have been true for some brothers, it wasn't true for all. But one it certainly was true for was Friar John. And Friar John had felt a stirring in his loins for one woman in particular. And of course, that woman had to be Dame Erpingham, the wife of Sir Thomas Erpingham, and he, in modern parlance, had the hots for the wife of the lord of the manor, and he was thinking very inappropriate thoughts for a friar. Now, he could have mortified the flesh, he could have sought comfort from the scriptures, he could have spoken to his father confessor, but no, he waited until Sir Thomas was away and wrote a love letter inviting Dame Erpingham to meet him by the wall and to celebrate their coupling together. What, unfortunately, Friar John didn't know was that Sir Thomas Erpingham was only away for a day. And when he returned home, when he opened his front door, he was astounded to hear the sound of his wife laughing from the bedroom. He went up to the bedroom and his wife handed him a letter. And he read it, and he didn't laugh. So what could he do? Come on, what are the options?
Take it to the abbot.
Take it to the abbot. You're so civilised. Take it to the abbot.
Kill him.
Kill him? Is that just a little, it's a friar. I'm not sure they're terribly good at fighting duels. So an unfair duel? Okay. So could we sort of, well, okay.
Tricky, that
who said tricky? Where's that voice come from? Tricky. Who said tricky? A woman. Tricky. Tricky. Who said tricky? How?
don't know.
So Thomas asked his wife to write a reply, to agree to the tryst. And so Friar John, in the middle of the next night, left his cell and went out into the gardens and round to the other side of the wall for his tryst with Dame Erpingham, and there she was in her silk cloak with the hood up covering her face because she was coy and a lady, and he went up to her and he let his fingers walk up her shoulder from behind and placed his hand upon her shoulder and said, "My desire is hot for you, my lady." And then the hood was pulled back and he found himself staring into the eyes of Sir Thomas Erpingham, who took his staff and struck Friar John across the head so hard the sound was like a cracking nut, and the friar, this will satisfy you, fell dead to the ground. So Sir Thomas looked. Now, actually, he obviously wants to protect his marriage, but he's now killed a friar. This is quite a serious problem. So he went to find his groom of the horse, who was a loyal servant. And the groom of the horse looked at the dead friar and knew exactly what to do, because servants always do in these situations. So they heaved the body back over the wall and let it drop the other side. And then the groom climbed over and found a bench and sat Friar John on the bench as if he was fast asleep. And then he went back over the wall, and the two of them went into the manor and promised never to speak of it again. Come the morning, the abbey comes to life. And Friar Richard, who is not a man of the flesh, he is a man of the spirit and of the word. So he has been up praying at matins, and he has gone into the garden to do his work before he must go to the city and walk all the way along the city road to the city. And there he sees, when he is coming back from the garden, that there is Friar John, fast asleep again, has obviously been out all night again. And so he shouts to Friar John, "Wake up! Where is your duty? Where is your service to your Lord and to your community?" And Friar John makes no reply. And Friar Richard may be a spiritual man, but he is inclined to anger. So he picks up a stone and he throws it at his brother Friar, and it strikes his brother Friar on the side of the head, and he topples forward. And Friar Richard goes up to the body, for it is a body, for Friar John is dead. And he fails to notice that the blood on the side of the head is perhaps a little drier than it should be for a fresh wound, and that Friar John is a little colder than he should be for someone who has just died. And he panics. What can he do with the body?
Throw it another side.
He pushes the body over the other side of the wall, and he starts his walk back. Sorry, not back, his walk towards the city. The groom of Sir Thomas Erpingham has been taking the horses out for the morning, early morning. And on his way from taking the horses out, he is walking alongside the wall when he comes across something he really hadn't expected to see. It's that body again. He doesn't want to disturb his master, so he goes to the stables and finds the oldest nag that was going to make it to the knacker's yard fairly soon. He goes out to the yard and finds an old suit of rusted armour. He dresses the friar in the rusted armour and heaves him up onto the horse, in the saddle, leaning on the reins, and he slaps the rump of the horse, and off it goes, down the road towards the city. Friar Richard is walking to the city on the city road. As he's walking, he hears the sound of a horse coming up behind him. He doesn't turn round. He's too busy in thought, thinking about his immortal soul and the fact that he has killed a brother. And then the horse starts trotting alongside. Is trotting the wrong word? It's walking. What's walking pace? Is trotting okay? Thank you. Trotting's okay. Trotting alongside him. And there's nothing he can do. He must greet the rider. And so he looks up to greet the rider. "Good Sir Knight, are you travelling to the city?" But the visor of the knight is down. So he keeps walking. "It's a pleasant day, Sir Knight." And at that point, the horse just has a slight jitter. And as it jitters, the visor falls open and the head leans back. And Friar Richard sees his worst nightmare. The Lord God has punished him for what he has done. And so Friar Richard confesses his sins, and, well, he could plead the church, of course, and save his own neck, but he doesn't. Because he killed a fellow brother, he deserves to die. But the groom tells Sir Thomas Erpingham, and Sir Thomas Erpingham goes before the judge and admits, "Actually, it was I who killed the brother because he was seeking to bed my wife." Which is quite understandable, really. So no further action was taken. And so, my lord, from my story you learn what it is to be a loyal husband, to treasure your wife. What it is, said the prince, to be a man with a temper and prone to violence, to be venal, to take another man's life because he dared to touch what you thought was yours, or seek to touch it anyway. You'll have to do better than that.